Part 29. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 281. Chapter 281. In the end, Fen Ling and the others won, and Fen Ling returned to Luo City. Luo Chen was thrown into prison because he was discovered, and will never be reincarnated. Feng Shuang was discovered and committed suicide under a false name. However, what Fen Ling didn't expect was that before her life was over, she would inexplicably enter another world. Yes, I can't write anymore. In Luoyang, there is the general's mansion. In the general's mansion's family, there was a frail and sick young lady named Fen Ling. The general's mansion's family particularly loved Fen Ling. However, because the general's mansion was so successful that they forgot about the master, Fen Ling was given a marriage by the emperor to the Night King. Everyone knows that the Night King is famous for being irritable and moody. If this young lady from the general's palace were to marry him, I'm afraid she wouldn't live long. After Fen Ling woke up and received the memory, she realized that she had traveled through time. She had a system. After completing the task in each interface, she could go to the next interface. So, the place she stayed before was actually just an interface, not real life. Fen Ling sighed, wondering where Ye King Han had gone and whether he was still here like her. If not, then will that man marry another woman in the future? The same thing happened in Yuang Mansion. Ye King Han closed and opened his eyes and found himself in an antique room. He looked at everything in front of him blankly, not knowing what happened until he completely received the memory. It turns out that he came to an ancient world, but where is Lingling? Where has she gone? Will she? Your Highness 15th wishes to see you. Your Highness 15th. Ye King Han thought to himself, this emperor is so good at giving birth that he even gave birth to his 15th Highness. It's just that he has just arrived, and he doesn't know who the 15th Highness is and how he is king. I can only rely on my own memory to judge that this 15th Highness should be a 12-year-old child. Although the young man here is mature, at 12 years old, he is still a child after all. It's just that these 12 Highnesses died because of their mother a few days ago. He was not favored by the emperor, so he was left to him. It seemed that the emperor didn't even think about how he, a fruitless person, could possibly raise a child. Moreover, based on King Han's character the night before, this child. Let him in, Ye King Han said. However, Ye King Han never expected that when Ye King he came in, what he saw was a ragged child. He was holding a book in his hand, his body was uneasy, and he seemed to be afraid of him. Kin he meets the third brother. Ye King he immediately knelt down when he saw Ye King Han. Being respectful, there is nothing wrong with it, and you can see that he has been trained. Get up, Ye King Han waved his hand. In fact, he didn't have that many rules. Usually in the Blood Demon Alliance, he would set up rules for his subordinates to implement. Suddenly, a child knelt down really respectfully. He was a little uncomfortable. Habit. Ye King he heard it, stood up, and carefully placed the book on Ye King Han's table. Third brother, Kin he has finished memorizing it, please third brother. Where did I ask you to carry it last time? Ye King Han has not yet fully accepted the memory of the original person, so he can't remember such small things. Here Ye King he nodded obediently. Ye King Han, good guy, just half a book. Let's start. Ye King Han picked 2 questions at random, and what was surprising was that the child actually remembered them all. How long have I let you carry it? If you want to reply to Brother San Huang, one day can you carry it for so long in one day? Ye King Han was a little surprised. He suddenly felt that the Ye King he in front of him seemed to be a talent that could be made. He stared at Ye King he with bright eyes, which made him a little scared. End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 282. Chapter 282. Brother San Huang, Do you have any questions? Yekin he was a little scared. His injury last time had not healed yet. If the third emperor brother punished him this time, he might not be able to get out of bed for several days. Yekin he was a little scared when he thought of the punishment of his third emperor brother, and couldn't help but tremble. Although Yeking Han traveled through time, his perception ability was still there, so he could clearly feel the changes in the child's emotions. So, what did Yeking Han do to his brother in the past to make him really afraid of her? Yeking Han had some doubts, but he didn't say much, and continued to carry a few more things. The things that the original body asked Yekin he to carry were not useless things. They were all about the art of war. However, the original body seemed to have never given them to Yekin he. Chizuru has explained it before, so I don't know how well this child understands it. After Yeking Han smoked a few, he asked Yekin he a question: what do you think of the art of war in this book? Tell me what you think. When Yekin he heard this, his face turned pale. Half of the third emperor brother said this because he was very dissatisfied with himself. Otherwise, he would not ask such a question. It seems that there is no way to escape today's punishment. The child took a deep breath, closed his eyes in despair, and casually expressed his opinion. Although it was immature, unexpectedly, it still made some sense, which was pretty good for his age group. Yeking Han didn't expect that after a small time travel, he would get such a smart brother. You go, I have something else to do. Yeking Han handed the book to him, and then let the child go out. The child was still confused until he went out. So, the third emperor brother didn't plan to punish himself? Hey? Did you hear that? The young lady is going to marry His Highness the Night King. Oh my God, that is His Royal Highness the Night King. Is this young lady willing to marry? What can you do if you don't want to? That is the emperor's order. How can the general's government disobey it? Even a young lady can only resign herself to fate. However, the original owner was unpopular in the general's mansion. Because he bullied good and feared evil, he often bullied his maids, so no one wanted to follow Feng Ling. Now, Grandma brought a bunch of maids to Feng Ling's room, because the previous maid was killed by Feng Ling again. Miss, please choose. Grandma stood aside respectfully. Feng Ling looked at the 50 or so maids and twitched her mouth. To be honest, before she accepted the memory of the original owner, she had no idea that this girl was so capable. But now that she knows it, it is estimated that many of the servants in the general's palace are eager for her to die. Ahem, who among you is willing to follow me? She never wanted to force anyone. Everyone looked at me and I looked at you, but no one was willing. Some were even so frightened that they rolled their eyes and fainted. I didn't look at it, making people just stay. Am I that scary? Feng Ling smiled, but she didn't expect such a big reaction from them. Everyone nodded wildly in their hearts, yes, yes. When the young lady was 7 years old, she beat a maid to death because she woke her up in the morning. When the young lady was 10 years old, she peeled off her skin because the clothes she chose for her did not look good. When I was 2 years old. Forget it, in short, because the young lady is in poor health, she has a bad personality. As she grows up, her temper becomes more and more bad-tempered. Now, she has to change several maids almost every month. When they thought of this, they became even more desperate. Feng Ling wants to choose 4 maids, but it seems that it will not be easy for her to choose one today. Feng Ling glanced at it and said, why don't you discuss it and leave 2 of them with me? I'll give you an hour. If you still can't come to an agreement after an hour, I'll do it. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 283. Chapter 283. Everyone looked at me and I looked at you. In the end, they still couldn't come up with anything because they were all new here. No one knew anyone and there was no way to introduce a few people. Feng Ling. It seems that she really doesn't want to be her maid. You, and you, follow me from now on, Feng Ling called the two who looked better, but she had no choice but to control her appearance. Your name is Xin Chen, and your name is Xingluo. From now on, you will be my personal maid. Feng Ling directly determines their lives. This is ancient times. That's the rule. Xin Chen and Xingluo were heartbroken, but they were afraid of being blamed by Feng Ling, so they immediately knelt down and said, I thank you, miss. Get up. Miss, are you looking for two more people? Asked the nanny. After all, according to the configuration of the young lady, there are still two talents missing. Feng Ling shook her head, no need, I don't need too many people here. If there are any interesting ones left, I'll talk to Grandma about it. It's miss, please leave me. After Grandma retreated, Xin Chen and Xingluo stood beside Feng Ling, feeling a little nervous. Xin Chen is 18 this year, Xingluo is only 15 this year, and Feng Ling is already 19. Logically speaking, in the original society, Feng Ling should take care of them, but now it is them who take care of Feng Ling. You all, please introduce your family background, Dad. Feng Ling said. Xin Chen said, Miss, this slave is 18 years old and has no family. This slave is 15 years old and has no family. Xingluo was obviously much less courageous than Xin Chen. Xin Chen looks like a big sister, and Xingluo still looks like a child, as if she hasn't grown up yet. But this is also why Feng Ling wants them, because she doesn't want her yard to be particularly quiet. The original owner liked silence, so it was stipulated that as long as she did not speak, they could not speak. Including when they move around, they must be quiet and not make any noise. Dong dong dong. There was a sudden knock on the door, and Feng Ling said, Come in. Then, I saw many maids filing in. These must be the maids in the yard. They will not follow her, but are only responsible for her daily hygiene and food. Miss, this is the lunch you asked for. The maidservant who came in knelt respectfully in front of Feng Ling. She was wearing a light green dress and her name was Bishang. There is also a deep slap mark on the face, which should be caused by the original owner. My legs and feet were not feeling well when I first walked in, which may have been caused by kneeling for a long time. Feng Ling frowned and said, Get up. Miss Ye. After Bai Shang got up, she quietly appeared next to her. After the remaining people retreated, Feng Ling and the three of them were the only ones left in the room. Xin Chen and Xingluo looked at each other. They had just come in. They had never been a maid before and didn't know what to do. Bishang seemed to notice their embarrassment and said, Miss, do you need a slave to take them out first? She was afraid that the two new sisters would anger the lady because they didn't know the rules. Feng Ling waved her hand, no need. There was too much for her to eat. However, it seems that in ancient times it was impossible for slaves and masters to eat together. Feng Ling sighed. In fact, she was not too hungry now. She took some fruit to quench her thirst. Then she looked at Bishang. She remembered that Bishang was originally the person beside her, but because she fell in love with a guard, when the original owner saw it, she remembered her tragic experience and became very angry. Then Bishang was rewarded with 20 big boards and had to kneel for 3 days and 3 nights. Looking carefully, Bishang's eyes were still black and blue. She was sleepy and had not slept for 3 days and 3 nights, which was probably too much to bear. Bishang, please go back and rest first. End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 284. Chapter 284. Miss, Bai Chang raised her head and looked at Feng Ling blankly, as if she didn't understand. After all, after being punished in the past, the lady would only continue to torment them. She was already prepared not to rest during the day. I have chosen 2 people today. If you die, wouldn't there be a shortage of people? Go back to sleep and come back after you have finished sleeping. You won't be here for the next 2 days. Stardust and stars will fall. Yes, Miss Ye Bishang was still confused when she walked out, because she really couldn't understand the young lady today. It seems that my temper has improved a lot. Follow me, the only rule is to obey my orders, and there are no other requirements. Feng Ling waited for Bishang to leave and said to Xin Chen and Xingluo, I know you didn't have a master before this paper, so follow me and you can learn slowly. As long as you don't cause trouble, everything will be easy. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. Xingluo and Xin Chen nodded. Feng Ling nodded with satisfaction, and then ate a little casually. You share the food with the people below. You can eat it if you are hungry. I can't eat any more. By the way, come with me to go out for a walk this afternoon. The general's mansion has never restricted Feng Ling's access, so Feng Ling has the most freedom of access among all the ladies. Xin Chen and Xingluo nodded, and then prepared to evacuate their things. It's just that Feng Ling didn't expect that Xingluo was a careless person, and he broke the plate on his first day. She was so frightened that she knelt down. Fortunately, Feng Ling's quick eyesight and quick hands caught her. Otherwise, would she still need this knee? You don't want your knees anymore, Feng Ling looked at her helplessly. Xingluo was already frightened. She heard others say that it is absolutely not allowed to break dishes in the master's house. You will be punished, but she was afraid of the pain. Miss, Xingluo didn't do it on purpose. Please go around. Xingluo. Xin Chen looked at Xingluo and wanted to beg her for mercy. Feng Ling, does she look like she wants to punish someone? Let's pack these things, Feng Ling said to Xin Chen. She didn't expect Xingluo to pack them either. The child was so frightened that his whole body was shaking. Yes, Xin Chen couldn't say her attitude. She was just a slave. However, the lady didn't seem very angry. Xin Chen glanced at Xingluo worriedly, and then evacuated the things first. Am I so terrible? Jingfeng asked as he looked at the falling stars. Xingluo, Miss Hui, I don't have this slave, my slave. Okay, I don't blame you. Why are you scaring yourself? Tell me, why did you come to us as a slave? You should know who I am. Why don't you go somewhere else but come to me? Xingluo glanced at Feng Ling and pursed her lips. I didn't come here because the general's office gave me a lot of money, so my mother sold me to help my brother go to school. She said she had no family because she was already unmarried when her mother sold her. What about you, have you ever gone to school? I went to school a little bit when I was a child, and I know a little bit about the words. From now on, I will teach you to read. My maid must be able to read, do you understand? And Stardust, too. Miss, are you telling the truth? Do you really know how to teach us how to read? Xingluo seemed to be a little unconvinced. When he heard about reading, his eyes lit up. Feng Ling nodded, I don't need to lie to you. Okay, don't take me for granted. It's nothing. You go back and rest first. I also want to take a nap. Come over in the afternoon. Don't come in and disturb me before I wake up, am I angry? It's serious. End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 285. Chapter 285. Yes, I understand. Xingluo's voice became louder because of his excitement. Feng Ling liked Xingluo's current appearance more than his previous submissiveness. Xin Chen had been waiting outside for Xingluo. After seeing Xingluo come out of the house safe and sound, Xingchen's heart finally dropped. She hurriedly walked forward and looked Xingluo up and down. How are you? Are you okay? The lady didn't punish you, right? It's okay, Sister Xin Chen, the lady didn't punish me, and Zingluo frowned, but still said it, Sister Xin Chen, I don't think the lady is as bad as what is said outside, and she even said she would teach me. Read and read. Really, this was something Xin Chen didn't expect. However, because of past experiences, Xin Chen had always been particularly cautious in this kind of matter, so she advised Zingluo, no matter what, be careful in front of the lady. It's better to be cautious. You know very well how many people have died in this place, all because of the lady. Forget it, as long as you're fine, in short, you won't be so irritable in doing things in the future. I know Sister Xin Chen. Zingluo stuck out her tongue. She had always been a careless person. When she was a child, she was often bullied by others, so she later learned to fight instead of resisting. Just because of his personality, no one knows that Zingluo is actually very good at fighting. He can fight 3 grown men at once and not fall behind. Sister Xin Chen, I'm going to have a rest by the way, was Sister Bishang punished by the lady today? I want to see her. According to the young lady, they should work together in the future, so she felt that she should see Sister Bishang no matter what. Moreover, Zingluo felt that Sister Bishang was really good looking, even if there was a slap mark on her face, looks great. If Bishang wears Mrs. clothes, I'm afraid Sister Bishang will have the same temperament as Miss Bishang, but after seeing so many people, Miss Bishang is the prettiest. It's no wonder that everyone says that the lady from the general's mansion is number 1 in the beauty rankings. Bishang slept for a whole day and night. When she woke up the next night, she saw a little carrot head. That's right, it's Zingluo. She handed Bishang the rice that she had saved for Bishang. Sister Bishang, why don't you eat some while it's hot? After all, I haven't eaten for a day and a night. Bishang slept for a long time and finally felt a lot better. Her head no longer hurt. She nodded and took the rice from Zingluo's hand. Is this it? This doesn't look like food for their girls to eat, right? Sister Bishang, the young lady gave it to us. I left some for you. Did the lady reward them? Bai Chang was a little surprised. The lady had never rewarded them with anything. Apart from scolding and beating, it could be said that the maids around the lady were used to it. Many even hanged themselves because they couldn't bear it. When thinking of this, Bishang thought of the man Fenyu who might never be seen again. If the lady doesn't stop her, she can marry Fenyu and have children in the future. Bai Chang sighed and didn't know how Fenyu was doing now. She was injured, and the lady was angry again. She had people drive Fenyu to the outer courtyard and not let him get close. She hadn't seen Fenyu for a long time. She misses Fenyu especially now. Now, Fenyu misses Bishang very much, because he saw Bishang being caught and whipped with his own eyes, and because he was just a guard, he was helpless. Fenyu, what are you looking at? Fenyun, who was also a guard, patted his shoulder and asked. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 286. Chapter 286. It's nothing, I just miss Bishang. Fenyu shook his head. He hated himself so much. He hated that he had no money and no ability. Otherwise, he could have rescued Bishang. That place was no place for people to stay. It's clearly a place where everyone eats. Fengling didn't know all this. She had just come here and many things had not been sorted out yet. Moreover, there was also a Night King, and her head had become big recently. Miss, Grandma is here. Mrs. birthday party will be held in 2 days, and she said she wants to choose clothes for her. Bishang followed Fengling after she recovered. Perhaps because I have been with Fengling for a long time, Bishang is still very comfortable to use Fengling. Let her come in, Feng Ling said. Bishang nodded, and then called, come in, mammy. Old slave, please see the lady. Get up. Feng Ling looked at the clothes on the back of her grandmother and twitched her mouth, so many. To my lady, my wife bought these specially for you. I don't know what you like, so I bought them all for you to take a look at. If you don't like them, my wife said I'll buy them for you again. Prodigal. At this moment, Feng Ling only had these two words in her mind, nothing else. Okay, bring it in and let you go out. Tell mother that I like it very much. She heard that her mother had been in poor health due to her marriage a few days ago, so she had been bedridden. Her father had been taking care of her mother these days, so she had not come to see her. However, she had to say that the original, the happiest child in the world, with parents who love her so much. Her parents also fought hard for the original marriage, but they couldn't bear it, and the emperor made it difficult for the old man. Miss, which one do you like? Zingluo was dazzled by the clothes in so many colors, they all look so good. Miss, it must look good in it. You go and choose a set for me. Feng Ling has difficulty choosing, so she is too lazy to choose. Zingluo blinked, do you want me to choose? She looked around carefully and finally chose a set of bright red clothes. Paired with the temperament of a young lady, she looked like a dust catcher. Feng Ling didn't expect Zingluo to have such good taste, and she liked this style very much. That's it, put the others away and pass them on when you have a chance later. This dress is such a waste of money for the general's mansion, she will never be able to wear it out until the end of time. It's miss. After Zingluo put it up, Feng Ling thought about going outside for a walk. The three maids were all there. She said, let's go to the martial arts training ground. I heard there were a lot of fun things over there, and you could even ride a horse. She hadn't ridden a horse for a long time. Hands are already a little itchy. It's miss. Bishang looked at Zingluo and Xin Chen. The martial arts training ground is a place where guards are trained. Miss also likes to play there sometimes. It's just that the young lady's skills are not as good as those of the guards. The prince and his wife just thought that the young lady could exercise her body, so they agreed. However, he seems to be at the martial arts training ground as well. I wonder if I can meet him today. Thinking about this, Bishang's face turned red. Feng, you didn't expect to see Bai Chang so soon. She seemed to have lost a lot of weight compared to the last time, and she followed Feng Ling calmly. Now, he wanted to fly over immediately and her away from Feng Ling, but he knew that he couldn't. Have you ever ridden a horse? Feng Ling suddenly asked a question. The three people looked at each other and shook their heads. I'll teach you. Is it okay? Zingluo was still a child at heart, and was very new to things like horseback riding. Come up, I'll take you. Feng Ling pointed to the white horse not far away and said with a smile. Zingluo doesn't have the concept of master and servant in his mind. End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 287. Chapter 287. I just feel that since Feng Ling said it, then it's okay. She nodded, climbed up awkwardly, and then felt someone behind her, holding her body. Put your hand on the reins. Feng Ling said. Zingluo did as he was told. Then, I felt the horse move, and it changed from a trot to a gallop. Behind me, Feng Ling's clear laughter could be heard. That's what makes riding a horse fun. It's so comfortable. Zingluo felt the wind blowing on her cheeks and narrowed her eyes in enjoyment. Of course, ma, Zingluo, do you want to learn it? Think. Zingluo echoed loudly, and Feng Ling curled her lips. Okay, then listen to me. Feng Ling gave Zingluo the key points that he should master when riding a horse in his mind. At the beginning, Zingluo was a little scared. However, after he was able to fully control himself later, a touch of proud joy appeared on his little face. Ms, I learned it, I learned it. She never thought that one day she would be able to learn to ride a horse. This was simply impossible. Okay, come on down, if you keep riding, you will cry tomorrow. Why? Zingluo didn't understand. Fenling smiled mysteriously, I believe you, miss, otherwise you will regret it. Facts have proved that Zingluo did regret it. She regretted why she had to ride for so long. She should have got off the bike when she first learned it. She could still be more skilled in the future, but there was no need to make herself unable to get out of bed the next day. Bishang, come up. Fenling had seen it before. Bishang's injuries were mostly healed. There was only a little bit left and she wouldn't feel anything, so it wasn't a big problem. Bishang was stunned for a moment. She was not as courageous as Zingluo. To be honest, she also wanted to experience it, but she was afraid that she would offend a young lady. Miss, slave. Come up, I'll accompany you, Fenling said and pulled Bishang onto the horse. Before Bishang felt anything, she felt like she was sitting on something that moved. Fenyu, is that Bai Chang? Fenyu knew about Fenyu and Bai Chang, so he was a little surprised to see Bai Chang. Why did the young lady suddenly want to ride a horse with the maid today? Actually, the lady doesn't come to their place very often. Every time she comes, they will leave wisely, for fear of making the lady angry. But now, I gonna go see. Fenyu was a little worried when he saw Bai Shang being pulled onto the horse, and the swords walked over. Bishang originally had her eyes closed, but after the horse started running, she slowly opened her eyes. It seemed that she didn't look very scary. Bishang thought. Try to control her yourself. Fenling knew that Bai Chang was not as courageous as Xin Luo, so when Bai Chang controlled the horse, she sat behind to protect her. Servant. Bai Chang was so nervous that she even forgot her title. When she realized it, she glanced nervously at Fenling and found that she didn't show any anger, and then slowly breathed a sigh of relief. Miss, it seems that she has never lost her temper recently. She slowly grabbed the reins and saw Fenling loosening the reins and hugging her waist. Next, I will leave my life to you, study hard, it will be very painful if you fall. Fenling told Bai Chang seriously, looking very nervous. Fortunately, Bai Chang could not see her, otherwise, she would only wonder why her young lady was so cute. A slave can't do it. You have to do it even if you can't do it now. Bishang. When did the young lady become so shameless? She was obviously not like this before. Then, let me give it a try. Bishang took a deep breath and then began to control. End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 288. Chapter 288. In fact, everything was going very well in the beginning. Bishang had gradually learned to do it. After Fenling started to let go completely, the horse was also controlled very well. However, after seeing Fenyu, Bishang lost his mind. Fenling sensed something was wrong. The horse had already rushed towards the trap on the opposite side. If it fell, both she and Bishang would be injured. Fenyu also noticed this, but he was a human and couldn't catch up with the horse's speed, so he had to shout, "Be careful, Bishang." At this moment, what Fenling was thinking about was whether she was the young lady or Bishang was the young lady. Fenling took the reins from Bai Chang's hand, turned the direction, and somehow made the horse jump over several traps in succession, and then successfully stood on the flat ground. Bai Chang realized what she had done only after she reacted. She couldn't help but broke into a cold sweat. Before she could react, she felt someone slapped her on the back of her head. I was separated while riding a horse. Do you want Miss Ben to come with you? Where is the king of hell? Fenling looked at Bai Chang speechlessly, and then looked at Fenyu. She had not seen this man clearly just now, but now she realized that he seemed to be the man Bai Chang liked before. No wonder. They are all sins committed by the original body. Miss, this slave is wrong, please punish me. Miss Bishang was so frightened. Why did she lose her mind just now? How could she lose her mind at this time? She almost let the young lady just now. Watch it next time. Miss Bishang was a little confused. Wouldn't Miss punish her? Did not hear it? I heard. If you hear it, go down and ask Xin Chen to come over. Feng Ling gave her a slap on the back of the head. It's not very painful, it's even a little close. Bishang touched her head, then nodded obediently. I'll go right now, slave. Bishang, are you okay? Feng Yu couldn't care much anymore and rushed forward to pick Bishang down. Feng Ling. Sure enough, he didn't treat her as a young lady. Feng Ling originally wanted to say something, but she always felt that it was not good to say anything. She said that I don't care about you and you should be together. But she thought it was charity and said that she was wrong. But that was done by the original leader. Feng Ling thought about it and decided to just let them develop and not take any action. Stardust, mount your horse. Feng Ling led the horse to Xin Chen and pulled the little girl up. As for Bai Chang and Feng Yu, they were really confused. They both felt that this time the lady would definitely blame them, but the lady didn't want to care about them at all. All the same. Your lady, have you suddenly become sober recently? Feng Yu pursed his lips and frowned. Don't say that to Miss. Although Bishang said this, she quite agreed in her heart. Mrs. Temper has improved recently and she hasn't punished anyone for 2 or 3 days. After riding today, you may not be able to get up tomorrow. If you really can't get up, take a day off tomorrow without forcing yourself. After Feng Ling finished, he talked to the 3 little girls. However, it was obvious that the 3 little girls had not yet felt how terrible the word sequelae was, and they all said, Miss, it won't happen. I hope you can still say the same thing tomorrow. When the 3 little girls left, they felt that their young lady was laughing so horribly. The next day. Oh, Sister Xin Chen, my body hurts so much, what should I do if I can't move? Xingluo lay on the bed with a sad face. She shouldn't question the young lady. What the young lady said is right, but she is too stupid. But, why is it so painful? When I was riding a horse yesterday, I didn't feel anything at all. Me too, Sister Bishang, how are you doing? Stardust smiled bitterly. Sister Bishang, you can still move. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 289. Chapter 289. Xingluo looked at Bishang, his eyes filled with shock. Bishang actually feels very painful when she moves now, but if none of them take care of the young lady will definitely be angry, and then she may not know how to punish them. Xingluo and Xin Chen are both newcomers, so she must complete this important task. I'm okay. I'm going to see if the lady is up. You can rest today. After Bishang finished speaking, she walked out. Xin Chen and Xingluo didn't think much about it, just thinking that Bishang was lucky. Feng Ling didn't expect the 3 little girls to wake up today, but she didn't expect that she would wake up and see Bai Chang. Are you okay? Miss, this slave is fine. Bishang glanced at Feng Ling. The young lady seemed to have no intention of mentioning what happened yesterday. Bishang breathed a sigh of relief. She had asked Feng Yu to stay away from the young lady as much as possible. If the young lady didn't punish her this time, she would have escaped disaster. It's okay. Today is the Queen's birthday. I have to go and have a look. Please accompany me there. The Empress is quite good to Feng Ling, but the Empress has no children, only an 8th princess, who is about the same age as her. It's called Night Cold. Having fun with her is pretty good, so Feng Ling must go to the Queen's birthday. Bishang nodded after hearing this, that slave is ready now. The empress has never been favored by the emperor, but she, the empress, has no emperor in her heart. Therefore, it can be said that the emperor does not favor her, but what she wants. The empress has been waiting for the right man, but she does not know this who will be the right one in the end. Fen Ling touched his chin. She had no favorable impression of that emperor. After all, His Majesty the Emperor was a model of mediocrity. It was strange that she had a favorable impression. I heard that the young prince from the general's mansion is also coming today. Really? Then we have to be careful and make sure we don't make any mistakes. Otherwise, if we offend His Highness, we won't be able to walk away with nothing. Obviously, even the slaves in the palace have heard the rumors about Fen Ling. It seems that they not only heard about it, but also felt it, because every time Fen Ling came to the palace, she had to deal with some maids. Ling, you are here. When the queen saw Fen Ling, her eyes were full of joy. I haven't seen you for a long time, and I miss you so much. Fen Ling, see the queen, you look younger and younger. The queen's heart is different from that of ancient people, and is closer to modern people. Her views on love between husband and wife are exactly the same as modern people's. She looks forward to being together for the rest of her life. Therefore, after Fen Ling came to this world, she did not exclude the queen. This queen really likes Fen Ling. Wow! Fen Ling, you're here. I'm so bored. Yehan saw Fen Ling and rushed over. How are you doing? I heard a few days ago that you were feeling unwell and could only stay at home. I'm so worried about you. It's okay with me, don't worry, Fen Ling smiled. It might be because she had traveled through time, so her physical illness was inexplicably cured. Fen Ling couldn't figure this out, so she simply didn't think about it. She turned around in a circle and said, I don't know why, but this time I woke up and it seemed that my health was much better than before. Didn't I come here to tell you because I didn't want you to worry? Humph, you heartless person knows that this princess will be worried about you. Yehan rolled his eyes, then still held Fen Ling's arm. Please go out with me for a walk, okay, mother? Go and come back early. The queen smiled and asked the two little girls to go out. Bishang, are you okay? End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 290. Chapter 290. The person who spoke was Yehan's maid Xiao Chun. They had all heard about Bishang, so they were very worried about Bishang's safety. Today, seeing that Bishang was still with Fen Ling, seemingly safe and sound, Xiao Chun was relieved. I'm fine. I heard that the young princess punished you, so I'm very worried. Xiao Haru explained. Bishang nodded, I know what you mean, but we are both very good, and the young lady seems to have no intention of continuing to interfere with this matter. What about you and Fen Yu? Fen Ling does not agree with Bai Chang and Fen Yu being together. If they want to be together in the future, Bai Chang must get Fen Ling's consent. When the time comes. We can only talk about it later. Bishang pursed her lips. Perhaps, after a while, she could mention it again when the lady is in a better mood. Now that the lady has just become angry, if she mentions it again, it will make the lady angry, which will outweigh the gain and loss. That's fine. Xiao Chun nodded. During the conversation, Fen Ling and Yehan had already arrived at the small river. It is the martial arts training ground that they must come to every time. Any young lady or young master from aristocratic families can come here. It is a place for everyone to have fun, learn and communicate. Great place. Yehan also likes to play and make noise, so he always comes to this place to play. It's just that this time, they suddenly met a person while playing, the prince of the court, Yeji. Why is it him? Yehan didn't like him and felt that this person was hypocritical, so he immediately planned to take Fen Ling away. However, Ye unexpectedly noticed that they were leaving and grabbed Bishang directly. "What do you want to do?" Fenling narrowed her eyes. Bishang didn't feel anything yet, but she felt that her body was being restrained. The whole person was very frightened. "Why did you see me running away?" "I will eat you all up." Ye smiled and said, "I think this girl is pretty good and decided to take her in as my wife, isn't that okay? She is my girl, and you can't do it without my consent, even if you are the prince." Fenling looked at Ye coldly. Bishang almost fainted from fright when she heard that Ye wanted to take her in as his wife. Who didn't know that the prince was a scoundrel and would lose girls when he played with her? How could she be worthy of Fenyu if he really took her in as his mistress? The person she loves has always been Fenyu. She doesn't like any prince who is not a prince. I said, "Princess Ju, you are wrong. This prince wants to take in a girl, but why can't he do it? You have to understand that Prince Ben will be the emperor in the future. What do you want? Then I hope you are destined to sit in that position." Fenling looked at Ye coldly. With this guy's brain, there are probably many people out there who want his brain. They also want to become the emperor. He has a long way to go. You are cursing this prince. When I returned to your highness the crown prince, I didn't say anything. Fenling walked into the crown prince, and then, not knowing how, she turned Bai Chang behind him and said, "Follow me." "It's the lady." Bai Chang breathed a sigh of relief. She thought the lady was going to give her away. After all, the other party was the prince and she was just a maid. However, she didn't expect that the lady didn't. This moved Bishang very much, and some of the unhappiness accumulated in her heart these days disappeared. Fenling didn't know all this. She just felt that this prince was some kind of prince and she wanted to teach him a lesson. Seeing the sword in the prince's hand, she took out a whip and said, "I think you're unhappy, let's have a fight." "Prince, what the is this rhythm?" "This is Fenling's rhythm. She has always been like, if someone doesn't like her, she'll give them a good beating and then they'll be fine." However, the prince didn't know and thought she was crazy. End of this chapter.